Jean Piaget devoted his life's work to developmental psychology, researching this missing link between biology and epistemology. Piaget's method, like Freud, was to use the clinical method he sought to understand people by listening to them. It is impossible for adults to think like they thought as children because they've gone through qualitative changes. Piaget did not use studies and theory conducted before him to base his own research. He did not read relevant literature either. He conducted demonstrations rather than experiments and did not believe in controlling variables. With the clinical method, the behavior of the child determines the procedure of the psychologist, not vice versa. Piaget uses this method to ensure that he wasn't influencing the results of the session. Piaget rarely uses statistics and generalizes more about the human species. He uses mere descriptions instead of explanations because he thought that cause and effect testing was not always accurate. The clinical method is necessary to preserve spontaneous thinking of the child. Piaget thinks about how children think and perceive the world around them, and rationalizes what they see. He has developed a coherent and comprehensive description of cognitive development from child to adult. His theory. The function of the nervous system is the adaptation of organism to the environment. Adaptation includes process of assimilation and accommodation. The nervous system assimilates information from the environment and, if necessary, accommodates that information. Because we have a need for stimulation and consistency, stored information is organized into a structure. Input information forces changes in the structure to accommodate the new information because it is inconsistent with the previously stored data. New information is assimilated into an organized structure of previous information, and that structure may have to change to accommodate it. When the structure changes qualitatively, the child moves to a new stage. These are the three broad stages. The changes between stages are not abrupt and do not strictly correspond to age, but they approximately advance as follows. The first is the sensorometer stage, from 0 to 2 years old. This means the development of object concept and object consistency. The object concept is the understanding that the object exists even when we are no longer looking at it. Object consistency is the acceptance that the object remains the same object, no matter the distance, lighting, angle, or orientation. The second stage is the concrete operation stage. From around 2 to 11 years old, children undergo a phase otherwise known as the age of curiosity. Since they know the world through lived experience, they make up an explanation if they do not have one. This stage can be subdivided into pre-operational and operational substages. Operations are considered to be actions that take place inside the child's mind. These mental operations let the child gain experience by reflecting on previously physically performed actions. In the pre-operational substage, we make mistakes when first exploring the confusing world of symbols. The child is not yet able to think logically. Here are some common mistakes that the child makes during this stage. Mistake number 1. Different members of a class in different contexts are the same member. Mistake number 2. Children perceive the same member of a class in a different context as being a different member of the same class. Members are placed into appropriate class.
Hey look, it's a butterfly.
The rules for dealing with the relationships between individual objects and classes of objects are not yet clear. In this pre-operational stage, children will most likely think that the height is related to age. The taller one is, the older they are. This is the basis for learning mathematical operations. The concrete operations stage is called as such because it involves objects which are physically present. Until this stage, the child may be able to count from 1 to 10, but does not know that 1 stands for 1 unit or 1 object. During the concrete operations stage, the child begins to be able to do the basic math operations in his or her head instead of on their fingers. Children in this stage can also classify objects by characteristics such as color, size, shape, etc. The operational child also develops ordinal reasoning. Ordinal reasoning is the ability to place objects along dimensions, such as length and width, and consider the relationship between objects along those dimensions.
Hey, this pencil is longer than that pencil.
In the pre-operational stage, the child could do this by picking up each pencil and comparing them, but as they develop, they can distinguish dimensions visually. The third is the formal operation stage, which is after 11 years old. Propositional reasoning is the ability to solve problems in your head, not just on your fingers. You can perform operations on concrete objects and on propositions about those objects. This stage coincides with adolescence. At this point, the child can think about abstract concepts such as space and time. He or she also develops an inner value system and a sense of moral judgment. With this in mind, had Piaget not done his research the way he did, would we be misunderstanding the way children's minds develop? Piaget helps us as adults to figure out how a child's mind works and how they rationalize the world around them through experience from a young age.